Hello students, I am Nisha Mendiratha. In today's video, I will be discussing applications of magnetic materials. We will be discussing two applications, magnetic recording and magnetic hard disk. So let's start with what magnetic recording is. What do you mean by magnetic recording? Magnetic recording involves storage of data using a magnetic medium. So data storage is achieved with the help of a magnetic medium. Let's see what exactly it is. Now generally ferromagnetic and ferrimagnetic materials are used. Some of the examples are iron oxide, chromium oxide, ferric oxide, then you have some metal powders and evaporated thin films. Now why do we use ferromagnets and ferrimagnets here? Because these are the two types of materials which can be permanently magnetized. So the data once written on this can be considered as permanent. What is the principle on which magnetic recording works? So it is based on the principle of magnetizing an extremely small volume of a thin material which has the properties of permanent magnets. So that is the only reason we use ferromagnets and ferrimagnets. So small volume of this material is magnetized in a particular pattern. This is how magnetic recording is achieved. We'll be discussing analog recording first. We'll understand how analog recording works. So analog recording uses a record head which records the data over a magnetic media. Let's understand this statement with the help of a diagram. So in this diagram you can see that there is a core with a very small air gap at the bottom. Then there is a winding which is wound around the core. Then you can see that there is a plastic material. Above it there is a magnetic material. You can just say a thin layer of magnetic material. The example shown here is in the form of a magnetic tape. Clear? So how will magnetic data be stored over here? So what happens is you pass the recording current through the winding. So the core will get magnetized. If the core is getting magnetized, the small air gap in the core also gets magnetized. The magnetic tape moves at a constant speed. So due to the change, now the recording current will also fluctuate according to the input signal. So there will be a change in magnetic field and corresponding change will be there in the air gap also. The tape is constantly moving, so the air gap will create patterns on the magnetic tape which is moving in a particular direction. And this is how magnetic recording in the form of analog recording is achieved. A record head, it consists of a laminated electromagnet which is generally made of a soft ferrite which has approximately an air gap of 0.3 millimeters. It's a very small air gap. You have a coil which is wound around the magnetic core. And how is the data recorded? The data is recorded by passing an electric current which we also call the recording current through the coil. Now when the current passes through the coil, the core is going to get magnetized, right? According to the signal, the current also varies and this generates a magnetic field across the air gap. Now the tape or disc is passed along the electromagnet at a constant speed. So what happens, the field in the air gap magnetizes a very small portion of the tape or disc in a certain pattern which is proportional to the recording current, and the current is obviously proportional to the input signal. So this is how the recording is achieved. A magnetization is achieved along the tape or disc which can be even retained when the external magnetic field is removed. The only reason is the use of a ferro or ferrimagnetic material. This is how signal is stored. Now you know the reading process is also done with the help of same setup, but it's the reverse process. How do we record data? Due to the signal, there is a change in recording current, change in magnetic field, and this creates a pattern on the tape. Now if I want to read the data, what will happen? The tape already has data written in the form of magnetic patterns. So the tape now passes through this core. And the coil is connected to a voltmeter. So whenever there is a change in magnetic pattern, I mean there is a change in flux, there will be an EMF generated which can be sensed by the voltmeter, which is then amplified and converted back to the original signal. So let's understand point wise. The same head is used to read the information. The changing flux on the magnetic medium like a tape or disc passes through the record head, inducing a voltage in the coil. And this voltage depends on the strength of the magnetic pattern that was created. Now this EMF is amplified. It is then fed to a suitable output device where it is converted into its original form. So this is how the same setup is used to record the data, and it is also used to read the data. Let's just see one example of analog recording. So whatever we have discussed till now, it's just an image which explains it. You can just see that there is an audio signal. So there is a microphone. So audio signal through the microphone, it passes through an amplifier. The output of the amplifier is in the form of current, which is known as the recording current. This recording current is fed to the coil which is present on the recording head. You can see a small air gap and the orange colored tape which moves at a constant speed. So according to the signal, there is a fluctuation in recording current, there is a fluctuation in magnetic field, and this magnetic field is present in the air gap also, and thus different patterns are created, and this is how analog recording is done. Now let's discuss what is digital recording. So if I consider the word digital, that means it should deal with two values, 1 and 0. So digital recording is a system which requires two stable magnetic states which are known as plus ms and minus ms on the hysteresis loop to record the data on the tape or disc. And this is how it is achieved. You can just see that there is a modulator required to convert the signal into binary form. Then it is given to the record head. The other portion remains the same. The only difference is the data here is in the form of binary digits. Then the output is given to a demodulator which will convert it back to the original signal. So this is how digital recording is done. Let's understand digital recording. In digital recording, the data to be recorded is modulated and then it is given to the record head. On playback, after the amplification, the data is converted into the original data. Now there are various techniques used in case of digital recording. The first one is RZ or return to zero, then you have NRZ or non-return to zero, and lastly you have PE, that is phase encoding. Let's have a look at these techniques one by one. So what happens in case of return to zero or RZ? So in this technique, the direction of the flux pattern written on the magnetic oxide medium or magnetic oxide surface, this is used to represent binary values. So suppose I get flux pattern in positive direction, I would say the digit is 1. Suppose I get magnetic flux in negative direction, I would say the digit is 0. So one direction flux is positive, the other direction flux indicates 0. So this is how return to zero technique works. Talking about phase encoding, so in this method what is done, narrow spikes of current are used to write extremely small, is used to create extremely small patterns on the magnetic medium. So it's just a spike of current. So spike indicates 1, then 0. Again a spike, then 0. Getting it? So spike of current corresponds to the binary digit 1. This is a method which provides us the highest bit density. That means on a very small area, because spikes are used, data storage can be increased. Now let's discuss the third method, which is known as NRZ or non-return to zero. So in this method, the change in flux represents 1. So if there is a change in flux, we would say 1. If there is no change in flux, it corresponds to 0. So just by the values of just by considering whether there is a change in flux or not, we can come to know the digit is 1 or 0. So suppose 3 consecutive times the flux changes, so it will be 1, 1, 1. Then for next 2 intervals it's not changing, the pattern is same, so it is 0, 0. Again if the flux is changing 1. So any change in flux represents 1, no change in flux represents 0. The magnetic tape or disc magnetization depends upon the polarity of recording current. It doesn't depend upon the frequency and amplitude. Polarity is important because that polarity will tell us whether the flux has changed or not. This method is a more commonly used method and it also has a higher bit density as compared to return zero technique. Now, let's discuss the second application, that is magnetic hard disk. Now, hard disk is something we almost all have heard about it. Many of you might be having a hard disk as well. Let's see what is inside a magnetic hard disk. So what do you mean by a magnetic hard disk? It is a type of magnetic storage device. It is a device which uses magnetization to store the data and then to access the data. And this is covered by a magnetic coating on both the sides, and this stores the data in the form of tracks, spots or sectors. Generally, the hard disks are available in sizes of 3.5 inches, 5.25 inches and 8 inches, and the capacity of storing is, data storing is 10 MB to several GBs, nowadays even TBs or terabytes. Now, how does a magnetic hard disk look like from within? We all have almost seen a hard disk from outside, but from inside it is somewhat like this, which has platters, it has spindles, it has a read-write head. You can just see a pointer, a motor to control the read-write head, and then there is an actuator. So just a brief about what a magnetic hard disk looks like from within. The construction of magnetic hard disk. So it consists of a disk, so obviously a circular shaped surface, which is coated with magnetic materials on the upper and lower, both the sides, and then it is divided into many tracks. You can say many concentric circles, somewhat like this. So here you can see that there are many tracks. Each and every concentric circle is one track, which is further divided into sectors. And the orange colored arm-like structure is known as the read-write arm or the read-write head. So basically you can just say that the disk will move, and the disk is moving, and the read-write head will just flap. It will just move up and down and store the data. So this is how the magnetic data storing is achieved. To increase the storing capacity, what is done, several such disks are stacked on one above the other, and they are mounted to a common shaft which is known as the disk drive. Each disk is associated with a read-write head. So each and every disk has its own read-write head. During the operation, what happens, there is a small motor which will rotate the disk at a regular speed, and there is one more motor which will operate the magnetic read-write head so that it can store the data on the disk which is moving. So there are two motors, one rotates the disk and the other operates the read-write head. During using the arm, a particular set of tracks, reading and writing, can be selected. So to write the data on the disk, current is sent through the coil in the head. The magnetic field of the coil magnetizes the spots on the disk, because a read-write head will just tap like this. So it will tap and store the data. It will create a pattern on the disk, and the disk is constantly rotating. So continuously the read-write head is tapping and the disk is rotating, and the patterns are being created on the disk. To read the data, now what is done? Tiny voltages are induced in the record head coil by magnetization on the disk, and this is detected and amplified by the disk drivers. Now while reading, what happens, the disk already has patterns created, so disk is moving at a constant speed. Now there is always a change in pattern of magnetization, so that will create an EMF, which is then amplified, and it is converted into the original signal by the disk drivers. The amplified signal is given to disk controllers, where the decoding is done, error checking is done, and then it is converted into the original form. So this is how the same mechanism records the data also and reads the data also. This is how the magnetic hard disk looks like. You can see an ARM assembly which is having individual read-write heads and many stacks which are stacked above the other. And in between you can see a spindle. So through the spindle the disks will move like this, and the read-write head will move like this. So there would be spots on the tracks created in case of magnetic disks. There's a small animation which will show you how this works. So the disk is rotating, and the magnetic arm, read-write arm, is just tapping on it and creating patterns. Merits of using magnetic hard disk: large storage capacity, data can be permanently recorded or permanently stored, less access time during reading and writing data, and protection from dust as they are sealed in specific cabinets. So the outer structure prevents dust and dirt from entering inside, because if dust and dirt enters inside the hard disk, your data can be corrupted. What are the demerits? Cost is more, and once the data is corrupted, the recovery becomes very difficult. So in today's video, we have seen the two applications of magnetic materials, like how is magnetic recording done and how does a magnetic hard disk looks like and how does it work. Hope you have understood all the topics I discussed today very well. Thank you.